Today I'm going to talk about the politics. About the recent hot topic is the Pelosi just went to Taiwan without any approval of China. So the problem is now you can see here, she has the six sins. Let me try to, translate it. It's six deadly sins because she visited Taiwan in a very sudden, like you know, 那个 hidden way, or it's not like in Chinese saying like a mouse slipping to the Taiwan. So it's not official. It's not very good for people to see it. So here is the six sins. Before China, had already signed all the commitments and agreements with USA's, and the international world already recognizes the one China policy. So now you can see here, seriously violates the commitments made by the US side in the three Sino-US joint committees. Trampling on the rule of law seriously violates the One China principle, which is the universal consensus of the international community and the universally recognized basic norms of international relations. And also, the cause of the current tension in Taiwan Strait is the repeated attempts by the Taiwan authorities to seek independence by relying on the United States, while some people in the United States intend to engage in Taiwan to control China, interfering in China's internal affairs. And Russia has always regarded anti-China and hatred of China as a political business and grossly interfere in China's internal affairs. Political manipulation, what Luz did was under the guise of a democracy, violating China's sovereignty, undermining China's stability, and curbing China's development. It was a naked political manipulation. Because it's a translation by AI, so it's Lossy or Rossi, is Pelosi, in fact. US media reports pointed out that the US midterm election is approaching, and the Democratic Party is deeply in the pre-position. Pelosi is trying to play the Taiwan card to gain political bonus points and leave a so-called political legacy. So it's American politics, American democracies, and diplomacy and American credibility are only once again bankrupt. The law must be despised by the world and swept into the garbage heap by history. So this is the sixth sense by Pelosi visiting Taiwan, very in a hidden way. So this is the problem. And I'm using Harmony OS, yeah. So when USA already admitted and admits one China policy and the three commitments, the agreements and the previous agreements of one China policy. So Taiwan is not a country, and Taiwan is a part of China, is the province of China. So it is very legal for China to do military actions or whatever. It's just like a country. For example, in reverse, other countries like come to USA, and USA refuses it, and the countries ignoring USA's refusal and intends to come to USA without any approval. And how? How about USA? What will USA do? If the other countries with the like Pelosi's case with those kind of similar figure to come to USA by a plane, by a commercial plane with some kind of fighters or jets, military jets or aircraft carriers around. So what will USA do? And the answer is you know what I'm saying. In reverse, it's the same because USA maybe like California, so the other countries want to come to California, but USA doesn't agree. But the other country ignoring the USA's opposition, but come to the California. How? That answers what China has done. China is very intelligent, not doing the very rapid response in the military way, because when China and the USA, they are two big countries. If they have war, and it will be very, it will be the disaster, because they are the two big nuclear countries, so they have nuclear weapon. It will cause a lot of troubles if you have nuclear weapons like Russia. Before, they just do some agentize countries. They agentize other countries to have some agent wars. It's like Russian now having conflict with Ukraine, and USA before did a lot of things in Middle East, but just the big country versus the small country, not the big country versus the big country. That's the difference. So we should avoid the countries USA and America and Russia, China know very well about to avoid those big countries' war. That's why America wants to Japan to have war with China, to use agents around the region to have wars. That's the point. And this news is funny, huh? I remember previous day, America blame the China should share the the rocket. They have the rocket going to the space. They should share the track or those maintenance, the remains, the rubbish of the falling parts of the rocket. The relics should share the track of that. But you can see here the news is that the SpaceX by the Tesla's boss, Elon Musk, right? SpaceX, Tesla. Those rubbish of the rocket fell onto the Australian ground, Australian field. So, USA, why blame China? Now you are having that kind of things, and China just the rocket remains just fell on the ocean, the public ocean or the Chinese territory or the Chinese ocean. So you got that kind of problem. How about the West? Why Australia didn't blame USA? That's funny, right? Huh? Double standard, I can tell. And how about this news? It's about now we are not the Asian invasion by the before, the 100 years ago. Now China will not tolerate it, and Chinese is not 100 years ago said China. 100 years ago, remember, 8 nations invaded China, invaded the old China. Now is the new China, so you cannot. There are nobodies who can invade or fight or go to China, take China's thing arbitrarily. Now we are strong. We are strong enough. So the G7 countries should shut up. Don't say something about China. They were, and they are doing those kind of invasions. And this news also tells about the Nancy Pelosi's husband and her son also have a lot of businesses and stock in China, in Hong Kong. So the sanctions, which is very serious to her, and after her retirement, so she will have no more money. Already so much money, so big amount of money already be sanctioned by China. So it is very effective, not only about using the military actions. Using these sanctions by economy is very effective, both to the USA and to Pelosi herself. And Pelosi that time was a very opposing to the Beijing Olympic 2008. But you know what? I think the news that some kind of this news saying that her husband's business in Beijing was to making some those limousine to fetch those high rank people to go to Beijing, traveling around Beijing to the Olympics venues. That's why she opposed to the Beijing Olympic. But you know what? Her husband was doing business like this in the Beijing Olympic. That's very clownfic, and that's the double standard, and that's the fake. You can see the Westerners always do things like that. And also, our country also did some sanction to USA. Like this. Canceling the Chinese and USA's military telephone line, so they cannot communicate, and cancel the China and America military visit, military diplomatic cancelled, and also cancel the China and USA's military comfort zone cooperation talk, cancel all the and suspend the China USA illegal immigrant and cooperation of the sending those illegal immigrants to back and forth to both countries. Also suspend the China and USA's judicial cooperation, and criminal cooperation. Yeah, also suspend the China USA's cross-country cooperation about the crime. Also suspend the drug and drug China and USA crime against the crime of the drug dealer or drug, those kind of things. Cooperation stopped. Also stop the China and USA climate change talk. It's very deep and very good, very effective for Chinese sanction. So also the military drill, or I can say it's the military ready. It's not now after Pelosi's visit. It's not really about a drill now. maybe a preparation for unification, preparation for using military reunification. Now we can see it because it's just practice, and it can always very fast to turn to a real military action. It's not only a drill. You can see the missile, first ever, going through the Taiwan province, head across the Taiwan's province. So this is the first unprecedented move. In 1996, that was the very far away from Taiwan. Now it's very close to Taiwan. The military action, 9 nm, the closest military zone, and which they have the 6 zones to surround the Taiwan island, so that the plane stop, the commercial plane, commercial cargoes, or all the things stopped already, so they cannot deliver food or oil to Taiwan. That's a very effective and very which has the deep impact to Taiwan. If other time other countries, those kind of councillors or lawmakers or want to come to Taiwan again, it's like this. And China will do more those kind of things, and Taiwan will be very tired and very unstable, and people may leave Taiwan or may leave or may emigrate to other countries, and the economic also blocked, and it will be very disastrous for Taiwan for sooner or later if China keep doing that for long term. So it's not for the short term. For making military action with USA is not wise, because it's too big a nuclear country. So just do the small countries like this, like the Russia versus Ukraine, and China versus Taiwan, the Taiwan province. That will be good, because Taiwan is China already. So maybe using the long-term strategy, which is good. Like you can see, the first time ever, PRA missiles have flown directly over Taiwan. They hit targets in water east of the island. The next 2 days of military exercises, we will see many more such firsts. And China already sanctions Pelosi, as I said. And I'm Chinese. I'm Chinese. One China I support. And the world only has one China. And that's the 6 step reasons I already talked. And here I show Russian people supporting China. So you can see Russian always support China. So because Russian people are good, and they are very justice. Unlike the United States, not justice, injustice, because they did a lot of things, double standard in the Middle East. They did a lot of bad things. And Russian, you can see they have the special military actions, because in the Ukraine, the eastern Ukraine, there are Russian tribes and races there, and the neo-Nazi of the Azov, that the Azov AVOZ, that camp, that those kind of neo-Nazi people who attacked the Ukraine east first, where the Russian tribes over there. So the Russian attacked back. So the news, especially the Western fake news, didn't say it, didn't mention it. So it was the neo-Nazi first attack Russia. So Russia then had the countermeasure an attack back. So now is with the special military actions now having. So which is the neo-Nazi attack first, not the Russian. And it is the USA interfere with other countries' internal affairs, like China and Russia. They are the USA interfering with them, and if the Ukraine didn't didn't have the intention to join NATO and deploy the nuclear weapon, there would be no war, no this military actions, special military action by Russia. Okay, so and one China policy, many articles, mutual agreements already, but USA just don't follow it and say something and doing something others. And now I'm using long-term CPU, Huawei Harmony OS, US very important. And I don't use iPhone or USA stuff or Japanese stuff. I just use all the Chinese stuff. You can see no iPhone, no any of the USA stuff that will be good. You can see Russia now is very poor because the Visa card they cannot use. Look at Russia now. So we Chinese have a lot of replacement alternatives to support our future. So I think it's very crucial now. Don't use the American stuff. Instead, using Chinese stuff for the better preparation. I think it's very crucial. And USA has always double standard and say this and do that. And also look at Japanese. When the Taiwan Strait tension happening, Japanese secretly, like Pelosi secretly went to Taiwan. Secretly, Japan secretly poured the radiated water to the Pacific Ocean and harming the whole world, and no one say anything. And the West, no blaming Japanese and the environmentally friendly teenager girl from Sweden speaks loving, and she is maybe dumb, saying nothing. Why? So another double standard example, right? And there are so many standards and Nobel Prize, right? Proposed by the West or the Western countries, by USA or Europe. Those things, those rules or laws and are not trustworthy. We don't need to trust it. We don't need to believe them. They are the standard we don't need to follow because they just fake and the double standards. They are just pros for the American and the European. They are just good for those people, especially for those kind of people. They are fake, not real. So the standards the standard is just good for those kind of countries. So we don't need to follow the American so-called standard or European standard. And USA always interfere with other countries, right? As I said. And some people may think that Chinese is was weak for the Pelosi's plane takeoff, right? That time didn't intercept her plane or some kind of other fighters. But I tell you what, it is the cultural differences. Because the right people or the Westerners or Europeans, they like to have the real performance and display, just like doing a show, making a show, live show. But Chinese more practical. Won't be like making show, but just do it very practically. Just like when you are at the boxing. When you are the boxing, it's like fighting boxer, right? On the ring, fighting on the platform, you will white people like to knock out the opponents. Then will be very great, like doing a show very good. Other people will praise them, right? But Chinese won't do it. They will just maybe like say that kind of guy. I don't. Maybe I use other methods, like I give you lesser protein or lesser food, so that as time goes by, long term, that guy will be very thin and no power, and the Chinese will KO him, right? Knock out him immediately, but not immediately. I mean for long term. But the Western now maybe immediately lock down the thing, lock out the other opponents. But Chinese will use long-term effect, long-term strategy, giving them lesser food and adjusting the environment and giving them psychological pressure, etc. Those methods. So now Chinese is doing that kind of things, like surrounding Taiwan month by month or day by days, and both using economy and military actions, and also doing some sanctions countermeasures to the USA and to Taiwan province. That will be the very effective effect. The result will be the same, but it's for long term, but not for the immediate results, unlike the right culture. So it's the cultural difference. And you can see now Ukraine's actor, the West, the democracy, so-called demon and crazy, fake democracy, fake demon crazy, or they are the real demon crazy. There are no such thing of a democracy, a human right or freedom. I don't think there is. They are politicus. Look at them. They are fool or clowns only. Say the USA's president Trump, or UK's president. They are populism. People who vote are knowing nothing about the politics. They are just making mess. They are just doing some crazy things, like the actor or singer to vote. What can they know? What they know about politics? They know nothing about politics. They know singing only. So if you give a vote to them to vote arbitrarily, the country will be very messy. It's like what the Western world now. It's very messy. The presidents and the rulers who don't know how to rule the countries well, and they just want to take the advantage over other countries to make polls, to make more votes, more polls to their party. So, and moreover, when the party another party takes over another party and changing and turnover, and every contracts and every agreements with other countries and every rules and system and etc. laws and or something, or agreements, contracts will be terminated and will be exchanged and turned over and again and changed. So which is very unstable and no trustworthiness, and other country will not trust that kind of demon crazy system. So it's not a good system. But in China, you can see that they are using the good leadership. The leaderships are great, and the leaders know politics. And they are so-called meritocracy. Meritocracy. Which means that they are working from the plateau. They work from plateau to the bottom to the top. They previously worked as a very small town's leader, and then they raised they promote to another level, to promote to work the 20 years and to promote to the president and the leaders, the final leaders. So they work for a long time in politics, and every field and in every town or villages leaders, so they have more wisdoms and intelligence to rule the country, unlike the Western demon crazy. So the meritocracy is very great. They just elect all the smart people, all the politicians, smart politicians, real people who are very good for country's development. So they are the good people. They can manage the countries very well. So China is great. And every country has their rules and laws. So Chinese promotes the human destiny in the same community, right? Human destiny community. So the human is the same, is the one human in the same community. So they see similarity and respect differences. Unlike USA now doing the competition and sanction to all the countries, which is nonsense. China is proposing cooperation, win-win, and human as one in the same community and globalization. Unlike USA opposing globalization, just USA first, America first. That's the opposing to the world's factions and world's trend. So you can see China. The world has only one China. And and recently just USA actively do sanctions to other countries, but not China. China just countermeasure. Just did some countermeasure when USA do this first, and China do some countermeasures and responds passively. So that's the difference. And USA actively doing those kind of nonsense first, and Chinese and just do some countermeasures. So that's the things that I want to share to you guys about the politics now about the world's affair and political stuff. Okay, so Chinese treats this Pelosi's visit secretly to Taiwan very smartly. So Chinese are very smart. Chinese is winning. So now they can, the military can go closer and closer to Taiwan's province, Taiwan Island, with good reason, because the US did something and Taiwan did something first. The USA and Taiwan broke the One China policy first and broke all the commitments and agreements first. So China just countermeasures. So they could do more aggressively the military actions, but they don't need to use force directly, just military drill or some exercises, actions first to prepare to surround the Taiwan, so they will have pressure. And as time goes by, about this kind of action month by month, 6 months or 5 years ago, 5 years later, the Taiwan will surrender by themselves, right? Will surrender and raise the right flag by themselves, I think. And they will maybe reunification peacefully soon, right? By using this. So now I'm using Harmony OS. You can see Harmony OS Huawei Kirin 9000 CPU. So I don't use USA and Japanese things, CPU, even CPU chips, OS, Harmony OS, Huawei CPU, Lonson CPU, Zhaoxin CPU, Xinjiang Micro GPU, 3D card, everything I don't use USA. So though it's slower, I keep using it because it is a very good and very preparation for the future sanctions by the USA or by the West. You can see Russia is the case. So see you. If you like it, please give me more comments, and let's together work together peaceful to make the world better, right? See you.